Good evening. It's 3:46 a.m. Welcome to another live stream of ghost stories from the world with Omen. We're still in the Philippines, folks. Today's tale is one of flying coffins. Now I know what you're saying, right? Flying coffins? What kind of a ghost story is that? That's what I was thinking. So I'll read it to you. It's not too long. But I do have a little story afterwards of my own, of my experience with flying coffins. And trust me, it's not what you think. So let's begin. Flying coffin. It's normal to see a coffin, though it typically gives us instant creep and goosebumps. But seeing a flying coffin in the middle of the road at night, well, that's a different thing. Who wouldn't jump out of his feet and run? Filipinos will agree with me when I say that the flying coffin is one of the most popular horror stories shared with people. This horror story was featured in the Halloween special of Magandang Gabi Bayan, a television show. The story is about a man walking in the middle of the night, and he sees a flying or floating coffin in the middle of the road. It's left him horrified, and this story is still known nowadays, especially during Halloween. Especially during Halloween. Very vague, right? Just say some guy, seen some flying coffin in the middle of a road. Didn't even tell me which road, right? So it made it kind of difficult for me to find a flying coffin. Now, remember, I'm living in Quezon City, and I haven't heard anything in Quezon about this flying coffin. At least not it being in Quezon, right? So once again, I do my investigating, because that's what I do. Ask some questions at the local bars and things. Little shops, vegetable peddlers, villagers from outside the city. Hey, finally, I get a hit. Somebody knows something. They tell me they'll meet me at the bar in the center of town later on that day. Right? Now I'm thinking to myself, this person's probably going to be pulling my damn chain. Probably going to want some money and all this other shit. Take me on a fucking tour to see a flying coffin that him and his friends are probably going to rig on a rope and like float from one tree to another and hope I don't see the rope, right? Because, just because. So, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be some bullshit, But I go anyway. Get there, I sit down. Have myself a nice tropical drink of some sort. I can't remember. It had like coconuts and pineapple. And no, it's not a fucking pina colada because it had like guava and mango and a whole bunch of other tropical fruits. And it was delicious. Shaved ice. Just nectar from the fruits. So deliciously mixed together. I was in heaven for a minute. I don't remember what the name of the drink is, but it's one that I suggest that you try when you get the chance, right? Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sitting here, ordered my drink, waiting for the guy. He gets there. He's looking all shady and shisty and shit, Definitely not trusting this guy. Definitely not trusting this guy at all, right? But, what am I going to do? I'm here, he's here. I'm at least going to hear what this guy has to say, right? So he starts talking to me, whispering all low and shit, like, blah, 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 blah. Right? So finally, I get out of him the information that I need, which is that he has to take me to this location where supposedly the flying coffin has been seen, right? Now, I get there. It's dark. He's sitting there looking a little suspicious, like I said, looking around and shit. So I ask him, hey, the fuck's the problem? He's like, well, the flying coffin, if it hits you, right, like, and it doesn't kill you when it hits you because it is a fucking coffin and it's flying. So assume that it's flying with some speed and it might do some bodily harm if said flying coffin smacks into your person, right? That's what would probably happen. But anyway, he says if the coffin hits you, that you'll be cursed and shit, right? So he's all nervous and stuff. I'm thinking to myself, he's just hyping this shit up, right? He's just hyping this shit up. So now I hear this rustling in the trees, right? Rustling in the trees. I hear it. And out of nowhere, this coffin comes flying from the brush. Smacks this guy right in the fucking head. Takes his head right off, right? Boom. Done. I'm sitting here shocked. Because the coffin didn't continue its flight into the unknown. It landed not far behind where it took the guy's head off at. It landed with a smush, thud sound, came to a crash, opened up, no body inside, right? No body inside, just some bricks, rocks, and trinkets and things. I hear a voice coming from the woods yelling a name, which I'm assuming is the name of the guy whose head just got smashed with the fucking coffin that got flung out of the woods, right? Or jungle / woods. Jungle woods. Jungle. Woods that are a jungle. So, a jungle, right? And he comes out of the jungle brush and he's looking really fucking pale now. He sees his friend's feet pointing up in the air because he's dead. This guy runs off, So now, of course, you know what I'm thinking. This flying coffin thing is some bullshit, right? It's some bullshit. Number one, how the fuck is a coffin gonna fly, right? There's no propulsion system on a coffin. And number two, why would a coffin fly? Are coffins haunted? When were they alive to be haunted? As far as I know, ghosts can float out of a coffin and casket and such, which is why they leave the graves and walk around and shit. Most of these ghosts people see have obviously been buried, so why they're walking around outside their caskets and boxes, and this coffin supposedly has to fly. That's what I'm thinking in my head as I'm looking at this bloody scene of heads smashed by coffin flung from trees. Trying to fucking josh me. And play themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's when joke's on you. Literally, the joke is on his head. He didn't really think that one through too well, did he? No, he didn't. Anyway. So like I said, I'm thinking this is all some bullshit now. Straight some bullshit. It's a fucking hoax. Just something that, some local townspeople probably say so they can drum up business in some particular area of town that maybe they have a couple of restaurants and a shop or two, right? So it's oh yeah, there's a flying casket pops up every now and then, buy a flying coffin memorabilia. So I turn to leave. And when I turn to leave, I bump my head. Pow. Knock myself out. Laid out for a minute and shit, Come to. Fucking head's hurting, pounding, throbbing. I'm like, what the hell? How did I walk into a tree? A damn tree. Open my eyes and I start looking around, right? A little blurry, Good knock on the head I took. And I see what looks like a flying coffin. And not with strings or being flung, flying through the air. It's floating above me and shit, just floating, right? Now, of course, I'm thinking to myself, I took a pretty good knock on the fucking head. I'm probably hallucinating right now, and this isn't real. Like, why would a casket fly or float? So I start standing up, and the casket moves, as I'm standing up. And it, like, turns and stands upright, like, as if it was going to open up and the person who was in it was going to walk out. And that's what happened, right? So the ghost, dead corpse thing comes out, says to me, hey, do you know which way it is such and such place? And I'm looking at this ghost like, yeah, it's 2 lefts past the light over there. What the fuck's with the casket flying around and shit? He's like, how the fuck do you think we get from the goddamn graveyard to the places we haunt? You think we walk? I was like, oh shit. He's like, it's sort of like an Uber service without a driver. It's just a coffin flying through the air. It takes you to your haunt, you do your thing, and then you're on about your way. You got to tell it where you're going, though. That's the only thing. And I forgot how to get to where I died at. Didn't really live there that long. Hey, buddy. Thanks for telling me about the flying coffins. Don't really need to get into your backstory. Got things to do. Nice meeting you. Have a great day. So yeah, people, flying coffins are real. And like I said, you wouldn't believe what they are. It's just transportation so they can go to the places that they haunt. Now, the dude that I was talking to, that I told him to be on his way, I kind of like flagged him back down. Hey, wait a minute. It's the wrong way I told you. Just dawned on me, right? I'm going that way. How about a ride? And I got a ride in this flying coffin, which, believe it or not, people, believe it or not, it's actually quite comfortable. Seats are plush, sit down. It's almost like you're melting away, It's not what it looks like. Like, once you get in, it's much bigger, You're not laying down and shit. Although when it turns upright and you come out, you would think that you were laying down because it's flying as if it would be in the ground. Don't get too caught up in the details, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, folks, thank you once again for joining or watching another episode of Ghost Stories from Around the World with Omen. First stop, the Philippines. Now, tomorrow I have another tale from the Philippines. The souls of some place I won't mention today. You'll have to tune in tomorrow. Thank you very much. And if you liked the video, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you need to be notified when videos drop on No Order Without Chaos, well, just go ahead and hit the notification icon. And that's what'll happen. You'll get one of those little red dots and shit. And it'll bother you until you click on it and say, hey, let me just check out what the hell they got. Stop bothering me. God. Take care of yourself.